Welcome back to the Circle of Kings podcast, your home for scrapping and rapping and all things combat sports. Live from the 2-6 Vietnam and the Triple P studios, here's your host, BigFace. Welcome back to the Circle of Kings, man. Your home of scrapping and rapping. And like we like to do, we're huge bare knuckle guys here at the Circle of Kings, man. It's fastest growing sport in the world. Giant BKFC fans. So we got a real special treat for y'all right now. We got the middleweight champ of the world right now, David Redneck Mundell, one of the baddest men on the planet. Give him a huge Circle of Kings welcome, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Man, it's an honor for us to have it on, especially since P, my engineer, the man behind the boards extraordinaire, he's a huge Redneck Mundell guy.
I appreciate that.
So, man, I appreciate you giving us the time, man. I want to talk to you briefly, man. First of all, I want to start off huge defense, your second defense against Coltrane. Man, it was shown, millions of people saw it on Amazon Prime. We was watching it, losing our minds, man. Amazing fight, brother.
Appreciate it.
And so, and I also realized, man, you fought at some high-level MMA, man, Bellator, Fury FC, Titan for several years, and now you've had this really strong run with BKFC and the bare knuckle. How do you feel about the explosion of the sport that you've been running with for the last couple of years?
Obviously we can see that it's growing. It's the fastest growing, combat sport out there right now. It's the biggest bare knuckle organization. I love it. I'm here just to ride the wave, It's kind of helped me create myself too, in a way. I did good in MMA. I was definitely no slouch. I got a little lax there and just didn't take it as serious. And then when BKFC came around, it sparked a new interest and made it here.
Well, man, 8-1 is an amazing record in bare knuckle because it's a different kind of sport there. And man, you're an exciting fighter, and you pretty much, like with this last fight. So you've knocked out the top three contenders, and we know who the big name is in your weight division there. What do you think about the future? Who would you like to see in the squared circle, Redneck?
It doesn't really matter to me, whoever the company wants to put up against me. I'm down to fight, right? Obviously, I'm looking for the higher names. I want the people who claim to be the baddest on the planet. That's what I want. So, I'm not going to waste my time with any more of these other guys that are 1-0, 2-0. It just doesn't make any sense. But I want Perry. That's the one I want. I want Mike Perry. If I can't have Mike Perry, well, who else do you got for me? I'll go up to 85, take that belt then. At this point, I want some of these big UFC name guys that are coming over thinking they're hot shit, and I want to shut them down and show them that BKFC ain't no joke.
So one thing about Redneck, if he says is every time we bring you up, we talk about you a lot in the behind the scenes. He's like, he's a badass. That's all he ever says. He's a badass. And it's true, man. And that's the kind of attitude you really have to have, that aggressive. And I see that. I see a lot of former MMA guys who maybe, had good records in MMA, had good records. Maybe weren't the top guys. Their striking was above average and their aggression was above average. And that's what you see do really well with bare knuckle.
Yeah. That's the one beautiful thing about me is I felt like I was a really dominant striker in MMA. But every time I would touch somebody, they'd try to take me down, which I was also really great on the ground. So it just really would, depend on where we would take the fight. But being forced to only stand and bang, it's different. It's exciting. It's fast paced. And it's wild, man. I love it.
So you did bring up Platinum P. So Platinum P, that would be an amazing fight. I'm sure that the brass.
Everybody would love to watch it until they seen it happen. I guarantee you, that man is not walking through my punches. I promise you that. I don't give a damn how tough he is. I will slice him and dice him. The ref will stop it to save him because you're not going to sit there and he's too stiff. He's too slow. He's not going to find me. He's not going to be able to hit me. I could stay in the pocket with him. I could keep him on the outside. I could put him anywhere I want. I would just make him look silly out there.
So, the record bears for itself. You've pretty much taken out the top three contenders. You beat Ricci in the interim fight. You beat Coltrane. You beat the top guys. I don't really know what the plan. They're going to give you another top five guy. You've washed the top two guys. It seems to me the logical thing is Platinum P.
Yeah, they actually started pushing it a little bit. They started putting his name out there with me as well. So I'm getting excited. I'm waiting, I don't know what their plans are right now. I'm gonna be getting on the phone with the man himself soon and figuring out what's next because I don't even know. But that's just the fight I want. I really want that fight. I just want to shut everybody up. Like everyone
Well,
talks about, because we fought, as an amateur, once as a pro in MMA, and the pro fight in MMA, like he talked a lot and said a lot of shit that you shouldn't say. It's like kind of like crossing the line. He actually made me fight angry, and even though I was beating his ass, I tried to do some shit that I had no business trying to do, and karma bit me in the ass. But the second time we fought, like I was whooping his ass on feet at will. I dropped him. He got saved by the bell as he stumbled back to the corner. And then the next round came out, I was still whooping his ass. And then I took him down at will. And I was trying to break his knee. Like we were just going over some leg locks and stuff. And I'm like, I just wanted to fuck this kid up. Like I wanted to permanently damage him. And, I got handed my ass for that, but that's okay. I learned my lesson.
so that was what? That was 2015, 2016, though, right?
Yeah,
right?
it was a while ago, a long time ago, and so that's something
yeah.
too. Is like everyone talks about, well, Mike's done this, that, and like he's already had the money, he's got lazy, he's got laxy. I had no choice but to continue to get better, to continue to grow. Like we are two completely different levels right now. I'm way past him. Like he would look like he was standing still in there. He just, again, he would look silly. I'd make him look silly.
I mean, you definitely are the top dude in the way. I mean, that's a no-brainer as far as bare knuckle fans are concerned. But you know how these things go. It almost seems like he'll be forced to fight you sooner rather than later. As
It's
far as
it's definitely gonna happen. I think if he would have lost the fight against Alvarez, maybe then they've been done with him, and they would have gave him to me. Or it's just whenever they feel like, okay, we don't need Mike no more, they're gonna be like, all right, here's your treat, Dave. Take care of this for me, and I'm gonna
wow.
clean him up. So I'm just biding my time, riding the wave, and just waiting patiently. But
You
it's
heard
gonna
it right here
come.
on Circle of Kings. You heard it right here. Redneck plays no games here on Circle. I will say this, Redneck. Appreciate you. My kid, appreciate you. I won $200 on the Coltrane fight, and Coltrane is from our neck of the woods, and I kind of had seen a few of his fights. But like you said, I watched all your fights, and you are a devastating striker, especially in bare knuckle. It's really, I can't see somebody just standing there and catching punches to the face and
you
eating
know
them.
it's a special type of striking too, because you see these boxers who obviously they can box, they come in, but they're used to having those big gloves on, which changes the range, changes their defense. Then you got these MMA guys that come in that have the correct range because the pad's there, but it's really not much, and you kind of learn like what you can and can't do. So I feel like the more dominant strikers coming from MMA are just doing better. So I think another guy I can think of is the other dude with the cowboy hat, Rockstar. I'm waiting for my boy Ryan to fight him. I'm excited for that fight. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And Ryan Reber, I think he can pull away with that fight. But that's just another point, is that guy comes from MMA. He's a great striker, and look what he's done. So it's something special, and a lot of people are catching on. So
Well, absolutely. I mean, we had the same conversation with, of course, Lights Out Lytle, close friend of the show, and he definitely gave us those nuances. That's what we're interested in right there, man. The differences in bare knuckle, because it ain't, it's not the tough man competition. It's a lot of skill. It's so much excitement. Every time I take an MMA fan to a show, and I've been to like the last three, I didn't catch yours, but they come away like this is what I'm talking about. I said, yeah, this is what you're talking about right here. This is
yeah.
what you're looking for. 10 fights, eight knockouts. I mean,
And that's the another thing too, is like without the gloves, every shot kind of counts more. It doesn't even have to necessarily be heavy. But you just seen like Coltrane, he caught me with like one little jab and it blew my eye up. So these unorthodox guys that are coming in that maybe aren't that great of a striker, traditionally, anyways, they still are able to find you, and then that kind of like shuts people down. And then they realize they don't like getting hit by that stuff, and it's definitely a different sport. It's definitely something new. You also have to be a dog. You got to have a little bit of everything, and it changes the whole game.
and it's just, man, just my hat go off to anybody that gets into that squared circle. But the body shots too, man. Redneck, the body shots look like you can see
Yeah,
where it hurts.
Well,
You know.
so I'll tell you what brought that around is when you start cracking dudes in their skull after a while, your hands start hurting a little bit. So you're trying to find a softer target, and that belly ain't nearly as strong as the head is. So, or as hard as it is, anyway. So, if I get a chance to hit you there, then I'll take it. And I'll tell you what too is like that does a number. Like it takes people like they don't want to get hit there no more. They're like, I mean, I much rather get put to sleep than drop with like a liver shot or something like that. Like, that shit hurts. You
Oh,
feel every second of it. I get knocked
100%.
out. I'm just
Listen,
gonna wake up. You know.
I got a cinder block head. You can punch me in the head. I got 18.5-inch neck, but if you hit me in my guts, I'm going down. I don't like that shit. I
It
don't.
slows people
So
down too.
I have to mention this to you too. We interview. We had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of bare knuckle fighters on the show, and we did have Marcus Bad Intention Edwards, who has a lengthy, MMA record, and who's got a 2-0 record. And I understand you have the target on your back at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wants a piece of the redneck. He was
Yeah,
saying some
I
stuff,
seen
you
that.
know.
Hey, that's good though, and it's just like Coltrane. Like he was one of the only people that I know that made a call out to fight me, and look, it got him the fight. You know, and I'm not going to say no if they offer me the fight. I don't know who the kid is. I didn't know who he was until you tagged me in that post. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, finally somebody like someone's got to make some noise. You know, being that he's 2-0, I would imagine the BKFC would want him to grow his record a little bit more. But if he keeps on that path, keeps on doing dominant performances, then they'll set it up, and then it'll be what it is.
So that's exactly what P said after he said he's a badass. He said, yeah, they don't want him yet. They don't want to feed him to him yet.
I think that was I kept saying that to a lot of people when Coltrane was coming over. I think it was like 3-0, 3 finishes, and I'm just like, yeah, but like the level, the experience, like he could be champ one day, but it's just not now. It's not his time. Not why I'm here in his way. Like there's just experience is just too different, you know. And I know you said something about the other kid's got a lengthy MMA record, which is great, but again, BKFC is completely different. You know, I'm 9 fights in, and the only loss is very controversial. I feel like I was robbed, and that was against somebody that we fought at 214. Here I am fighting at 75, and I still
Oh
walked him.
wow,
You know, like
wow.
I fought him the entire fight with one hand because I broke my hand the very first exchange. You know, so it's like I've been through it. I know how to fight with only being able to see out of one eye. I know how to fight when I only got one hand. I know what targets to find. You know, I know what I can't sit there and endure, and I know what I can. So
As P said, he's a badass.
it's just what it is.
All right. Well, since you said that, let me ask you this. Now, I personally think, a lot of people have opinions, but I think that you and Lorenzo Hunt are the two most exciting fighters in combat sport right now. I love watching every time. It's like watching Mike Tyson when I was a kid. I got to watch it because I know somebody's about to get knocked out. That's a fight that's in your weight range that can be made, correct or no?
Absolutely, you know, and it's
Wow.
something. Obviously, it's something that's been around talking, and I was actually hoping he was going to fight my boy Jared, who's getting ready to most likely take the 85-pound belt. Um,
Uh-oh.
I would be up for it. He would be up for it. I mean, as fighters, it's just what we do. You give us a name, you give us a weight, we'll show up and we'll perform. But honestly, I don't see him ever fighting at 185 again. Like if I wanted to fight Lorenzo, I guarantee you I'd have to be a minimum at 205, or I might have to go up to heavyweight. And I mean, I'm
That's
I'm
a
I'm
long
only
climb.
5'9", man. I'm just a short, little stocky kid. You know, I already got to fight guys that are 6'4", and that shit's super annoying. You know, I think I'm okay.
Listen,
I'm good. I'm good to go. Whack, get hit with a jab. I'm like, God damn it, man. He's like hit me across the ring. I'm like, all right, got to go forward.
Listen, I'm
So,
5'9", 205, and there ain't no 205 that wants to get punched. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So, I mean, it would. I just think the names alone, and plus you guys is both have two of the best records. You and the Baboon, you guys
yeah.
have the best records, and to me are the top three guys in
See,
the
I
promotion.
respect both those guys. I respect Lewis. I respect Lorenzo. I respect everything they do to fight, and I can't say that I sit there and strive to fight them or anything. But if it came down to it, I would fight either one of them. And I know Luis Palomino wants the Perry fight like I do. I do know he's never fought anybody at 175. And maybe we could do something where we fought each other and the winner gets Mike Perry. Like that gets us the fight. Like maybe that's something we could entertain. You know, you never know what happens. And again, like so many people just bounce around the weight classes and do whatever they want. And I'm like, well, I mean, if that's what's going to go on, like I was here to fight at 175, but I've done cleaned out the division. Don't see anybody who's deserving of a title shot yet. You know, so why not go take another belt somewhere else, or fight some, if they're gonna keep feeding me bums, I said this before, I might as well get a famous one. Give me one of these famous YouTubers. Let me beat them up. Like, whatever, who cares?
Well, I'll say that you brought up some real interesting points there, Redneck, though. I mean, you've gotten to that point, and the promotion has grown to the point. Now you guys are becoming like household names. It's growing. The numbers from BKFC were crazy. 18 million worldwide views. You saw what Mike made at the fight. I mean, you see how it's growing. 2024 looks to be a huge year. Luis Palomino is fighting on February 2nd. I know you've been crazy active since you've been in the organization. That really makes a lot of sense, and it will be a huge fight, and a huge fight not involving Platinum P. And then, I mean, what can you do after that? You almost have to fight the winner of that.
Yeah. It's like I said, like, you never know with this game. It's so wild. Anything can happen, anything can go down, and it's just don't blink. Moves fast.
Well, so I'm gonna just say, man, I know my man back here is still tripping out. He's super happy. He said that for the first time, we getting interviews. He's like, we got to get Redneck. We got to get Redneck. I said, well, we're gonna find him. We're gonna get. And I appreciate you taking the time, man. Middleweight champ of the world, man. One of the baddest dudes on the planet. I mean, you hear him. He told you himself. It doesn't matter whoever whoever the heads at BKFC say. They say he's gonna fight. He'll get ready. He'll get to the weight and he'll fight. He has cleared out the middleweight division. Shout out to Bad Intentions, man. Great fighter in his own right. But Redneck, 8-1, and just the way you've done it is amazing, brother. And from Circle of Kings, man, we appreciate you giving us the time, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate you guys giving me some time to get my word out there. So I'm good with it.
Oh, man, we about to chop this up and send it out to people like Mail. So I do want to say this. You're a friend of the show now, Redneck. So when you sign that next fight, we'd love to have you on the show to announce that, talk about anything. Anytime you got something, if you want something to shout out right now, you got something to push, we'd be happy to hear about it.
I mean, obviously, I want that Mike Perry fight. He's a bitch, and I just want to prove it.
No doubt. Well, that's about as clear as you can fucking be. I mean, I don't know how much clearer you can be than that. Hey, shout out to the middleweight champ of the world, BKFC's own David the Redneck Mundell. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Anytime.
Man. Bring him back on with me. Or do we? Oh, Circle of Kings, man. I'm excited. I don't know what to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got the Redneck Mundell on here, man. He calling people out. He calling people bitches and whatnot. I got excited. I said, I got to talk to him again off the air. So there you go, man. David Redneck Mundell, the middleweight champ of the world, gives you a whole lot of interesting things that could happen in 2024. I guess we all gonna wait and see. Home of scrapping and rapping right here, baby.
From Dan Mergliano right back to it. Off the jab goes Richmond. Closing distance. There's the right hand from Mundell. Mundell with the left hand, right hand from Richmond. Mundell 1-2. That's a big left hand on the two that lands from Mundell. Mundell cut under his right eye.